Boom. And then we're going to hit more live on Facebook. Oh, geez. Where'd y'all go? I probably should hit record last. Oh, y'all, sorry.
You're good.
If it's any consolation, it's very entertaining when you have control, Heather.
It's actually, this is so sad. I mean, this is so sad. What's it called? The Thursday night shift? The Thursday night shift. We're live.
The one and only.
I know somebody messaged me and said, oh, I need the name of that group. I'm like, oh, I didn't see it till later. I mean, I'm no help. Oh, it's setting up our meeting. And McAfee is scanning. I don't know what is happening. This is not good.
Well, you're live. I just got the notification. So.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, wonderful.
Well, I haven't gotten the notification. Oh, nope.
Gosh, I'm sorry. And I'm all gritty, sandy, greasy. I mean, I feel like there's sand, dirt all on my face because I've sweat so much today. It's disgusting. I was setting up for an event, so I feel
when you become a truck driver.
Listen, I have a truck driving license today. I'm an official setter-upper. I have never sweat in so many places and so many things in my body today. It's really gross.
That's hard work. They're very hard work. Like nothing like it.
Yes, they are.
But so rewarding. So let's start with our opening question. Then our opening question is going to be, what did we say it was? On the last event that you did, tell us what your results were. Like, what did you get out of it? What came out of you doing this event? I mean, is it new contacts? Was it? And if y'all are in the chat, put in your chat so people can see what you did. Really quickly, I'll just answer mine first, and then I'm going to go shut my door. The last event, this exact event we did last year, the same time, we sold over $3,000. We got 4 recruits on the spot and booked 3 parties. So it's, and new contacts too as well. Yeah. Okay. Melissa, go ahead.
So last event that I had, I got 33 solid new contacts, ones that I made sure wanted to be on my text list and stay in the loop with Scentsy, and had 2 past hostesses come to the booth and we booked their fall parties. So couple potentials to follow up with for joining, but nobody has converted just yet. That's okay. I will take care of them first as customers and then make them see why they want to do this. So, and all in all, the sales were amazing. I've done this event this is my 14th year doing this one particular event. And it's pretty amazing that I remember the very first year that I did the event, we sold $1,800 in 3 days. And this past year, we sold $14,000 in 3 days. So part of that contributing factor is that obviously more people know what Scentsy is by now, but also our price per item is higher. And I welcome that because especially with the Disney licensing, Disney sells and it doesn't go out of style. And I like the price point being higher because when people are Disney fanatics, they don't care what the price is, they will buy it. And so a lot of my increase in sales is because back when I was doing $1,800 for the event, we were selling $30 warmers and $15 plugins. So, I mean, it was, we had to move a heck of a lot more product to get there. And so, but I love events and I'm really excited for our talk tonight. JP.
The question was what again? I was so engaged.
What came out of your last event?
Oh, okay. That's what I thought it was, but I was making sure. So the last event, so mine are all really local. I'd have to really think. I didn't know that was a question, so I didn't pull out like my reports that I do after an event or my chicken scratch, but it's always the great contacts for sure. And there's always someone who walks in who has no idea what it is. There's always someone who comes in and says, that brings someone with them. This is what I was telling you about. For me, it's always, because I am kind of like a homebody, a hermit, I like to be right here. For me, it's always, what's the word? Kind of reigniting for me for the fall season, because right now it's hectic, right? It's fall and we're doing all the things and chasing our tails. And for me, it comes at just the right time, because seeing the customers see them smelling the bars, see them looking at the new products, the Disney, they're always like, Disney, I didn't know you did Disney, all of these things. So I think for me, it is just obviously, like Melissa said, the added bonus of the great sales that come each month, and it goes up, I mean, each year, and it goes up. But for me, it is the customer contact, whether they're new or reoccurring. It's just that fulfillment that they give me that keeps me in the groove, keeps me happy, keeps me, I'm not finding the right words, but it's reigniting for me for the fall season, and to still see happy customers out there so excited to still come in and be like, oh my gosh, I look for you every year in the same spot. And so that I would just say that, just that reignitement of seeing the customer experience.
And me?
Yeah, Jilly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chili Sue.
I haven't done one in a while, but I will say this: pet and animal events are probably my absolute favorite, because pet people love Disney, for one. For two, they love their house smelling amazing. So I love talking to people. They bring in their animals. I get to see the pets, which is so much fun for me. And if I go back to like one of my very first ones, still some of my very best recruits, like, were from those first pet events, are still on my team and still doing well. Like, it's amazing. And like what everybody says, just the connection, and it's just like a home party, right? You can meet people online, but it's not the connection you have face to face. And there's something about pet owners, like sharing their pets, and you have pictures of your pets. And so if you're in an area and you have a pet, look up pet events. They have them all over the place, multiple times. Usually, if you can't do the big, huge events, they're usually like 1 or 2 day events, if you don't want to do like the huge weekend ones. But some of my very best ones from that, I got to meet amazing animals. I got to meet, and I'll tell you what, 2 or 3 people joined my team that were actually vendors. So you meet amazing vendors at these events. If you do events, don't just sit behind your booth. I'm always standing up, but usually I bring a friend with me. And then a lot of times I'll go around and meet all the vendors for them, meet their animals. It's a great conversation piece. And just, again, I guess what everybody else said, it's just meeting the people, the sales, and the connections you make. I don't do a ton of home parties. So when I do events, I usually do them at 150%. And it's just, I go out of my way to meet the people, and for me, the animals. So that's mine.
I love it. Okay, we're doing this a quick 2-part because we started chatting before everybody got on, and it's seriously cracking me up. Okay, what is the funniest thing that you've either heard or it happens at your booth where you're like, WTF? Mine is this one. I had to run and get my prop because it's almost Halloween, so costumes are coming. It's this one. Oh, does this one smell good?
What is that?
When people smell the outside of the what does that smell like? Open the flippin' clamshell. That's one of my favorites. And then, when they come over and you're like over this much past the tape line, and then you got Rudy neighbor that's like mad because you're half an inch over the tape mark. Oh, I'm not even going to say anything, but it's the worst.
Or when vendors bring kids and the kids start crawling through the tables and they come up from underneath your table and they're in your booth. Like, I've had that happen. I'm like, wait, I don't have kids. What's going on?
Oh, we had a lady come in tonight wanting to shop. Like, we're setting up 4-hour window. I mean, we are setting up. I mean, I've got makeup on half my face. There's like sweat. I mean, I'm drenched. And it's like, oh, what are these little animals that, honey, no, we're not buying any animals. We're not doing none of this yet. Tomorrow. No.
Oh.
JP, say yours.
Okay. The neighbor, sometimes you got a neighbor or it's usually a neighbor. I'm sorry, I can't be near fragrance. It goes straight to my head. I can't deal with this. And I was going to say something ugly. I'm not going to do that. But she usually has a product that is, anyway. So that's one. And the other, I could do a whole segment just
we
on
should.
things that people
so
say
fun.
at events. But the other one is when someone comes in and either one, they're a consultant and they're like, I don't want to, can I just buy some things from you? I'm here visiting. Or they have someone that says, hey, my grandma's cousin's neighbor sells Scentsy in Alaska. Do you know her? Oh, I bet I do. Give me her name. I love to find out if I know connections, but about 99.8%, I do not know the person that they're referring to. So that would be, I could go on and on with this, but Melissa, you go.
I I have events. I should have kept a journal on event stories because by now I have so many, but I probably the funniest thing that always happens to me is I break a warmer every event. And so I'm a bull in a china shop, and I literally break a warmer every single event. And probably my most memorable one was Jamie, when I broke the cornucopia warmer, and when a woman wanted to buy it, and I was so excited to get rid of it because I couldn't sell it for the life of me. This was back when Scentsy was sending that warmer as a bonus because orders were taking so long. So while you waited for your order, they sent you a cornucopia or something as a placeholder. But anyway, I was so excited to get rid of it, and I'm holding it, and the woman wants to buy it, and I'm so excited to get rid of this warmer, and I drop it and break it. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. That's karma.
Were you like, hold on, I got another one. Hang on, I got another one under the
Yeah.
table.
Jamie.
Okay.
Yeah. But so many stories.
What was the one that we did the event together up in Michigan with you? And it was the ugliest warmer ever. And we had a contest on who could sell it.
The garden gnome.
The garden gnome. Oh my.
Oh my God.
And we
That's
sold
a
it.
fun thing to challenge if you are working with
Yes.
others, or even yourself, be like, which warmer is who's gonna sell it? Like the
Yeah.
one that you can't sell. Like that's fun.
But it also goes to show you that whatever you put focus on, whatever you highlight or spotlight to your customers, that's what they'll buy. Because once we decided we wanted to get rid of that garden gnome, that's what we were like. And did you see our March warmer of the month? Isn't he the
Gnomes
cutest?
are so hot right now. They are so in.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. Can I switch gears really quickly?
Go for it.
And then we'll go back to events, but you know what? We'll stay on events, and I'll do this at the very end. I'll do it at the very
Are
end.
you sure? All right.
Yeah. A couple things that I want to say about events. Events truly are a great way to reach new people, especially how we've become accustomed to working our businesses in this day and age. We are very accustomed to posting to our current audience, our current customer base. We aren't getting in people's houses as much to do parties, so we don't have that exposure. If we are doing basket parties, we aren't in front of those customers. And so events really truly give you an opportunity to build relationships and build rapport with new people. Something that I find is always very interesting with events is that there are a ton of lost customers out there, meaning their consultant that they originally purchased from no longer does this business. And so there are a ton of Scentsy users that just don't know where to get Scentsy. And surprisingly, they go to Amazon because they don't even realize. I mean, that came up a couple times at my event where people were like, my consultant doesn't do this anymore. And everybody has that perception, my mother included, that if it exists, you can buy it on Amazon. And so being able to really recapture some customers that have been lost for a while, we have events provide that opportunity. And so I love events. I built a business doing events. I thought for me, it really gave me a balance between home parties, basket parties, and getting out there in front of people that I would otherwise not be able to connect with at all. I have had events that have been total flops. I have had events that weren't supposed to be great and they were amazing. I have had events where it really doesn't matter what happens so long as you focus on getting something out of it. And what you choose to focus on is what will happen. If you're choosing to sell because you want to move product, you will sell. If you really are wanting to have recruiting conversations and sponsor, and that's what you choose to focus on, you will see that you will have more of those if you choose to focus on it. If you want to book parties by getting out there and that's really what you want your event to be for future business, you can make that happen. What I find is that you have to go into an event though with some form of expectation on what you want to get out of that event. Because with our product line being as extensive as it is, I don't even take all the product lines to an event with me. And everybody here will tell you something different. But for me, I want people buying wax and warmers from me initially. So because that wax is consumable, I know that product to me is, it's so amazing. I know that they'll get hooked. I can hit them with other product line opportunities down the line, but I really want to get wax and warmers into people's homes. So I give the real estate at my events to wax and warmers. Now, you may have awesome success with a different product line. Scentsy Buddies, for instance, whatever you love, that's what you will sell the most of. But it's very difficult to focus on every single product and every single aspect of the business without something falling through the cracks. So I like to say, go in with an expectation. Yes, I would like to move product. I really want to be diligent in having great recruiting conversations, and especially forming relationships as fast as I possibly can with the people that come in my booth. You guys want to add anything to that before we get technical or show some? No. Okay, then where should we go from here?
So I will say this too, something that I'm doing this year, it's usually at this fall season. That's really the only time I really do a lot of my events is really in the fall. I used to do one in the spring and I've cut back. I want to say this, on Facebook, start searching for it, because in your feed, they will pop up and start following. And then I screenshot it and I create a board in the free boards app of craft fair events in my area. So at least I know when they are and who to contact for next year. So follow as many as you can so you can start popping them up in your feed. Because once you start clicking on one, you know how that works. They all start flooding in. And you can pick and choose what you want. The more expensive ones, I will tell you, like next week, we're going to be at the Brazoria County Fair. It's 9 days long. I've never done one this long in my entire life. But me, Mama Bev, and Maudie are going to do it together. So it was $600 and something. We split it. And so $200 and something a piece is not too bad for a 9-day event to chance it. I don't know if we're going to have enough product. We've never done it before, but we're going to take a chance. So I think starting at trying to find events, if you haven't done them, start Googling events in your area and see and pay attention what's happening now. Screenshot, save for later. Find consultants in your team in your area that maybe want to do it with you.
And it's different nowadays because we have Facebook as a resource. Back when we were searching for events, you know, we would have to go to like craftlister.com and it was a paper directory. Or, you know, it was a lot more difficult to find events as opposed to now. And let me tell you something, huge misconception is that, oh, well, this event's established. They probably already have a Scentsy consultant. Huge misconception, because there was a spike in Scentsy consultants being at events. And then as people have left the business, they've left those events without passing them on. And you would be very surprised to see there's a huge gap now. There are events without Scentsy consultants again. And so if you go to the events link on Facebook, it shows you everything that's coming up that your friends are attending. And it shows you all of the events. So even if it's something that's coming up and it's too late to get into it this year, make a note that this event, you know, the 32nd annual something. Listen, if it's 32nd annual, you want to be a part of it. It has been running for 32 years for a reason. So keep in mind that things that say like 20th or 10th annual, or I mean, those are great to put on your radar because they are established events. Established events have greater traffic. They have people that attend year over year. Finding an event where people attend year over year means you get to see your customers every year at that event. That's why my 14-year event is awesome, because my customers know I will be there and they come back and see me every year because I'm in the same spot and they know that I'll be there. And so getting involved with these events that you can start building a relationship with the coordinator, you can, put it on your calendar and make it something that you do every single year. And you can find them now way easier because of Facebook and social media. So.
Anybody else want to add anything about finding events really quick?
I will say something that I did. I have a friend that lives not locally, and I reached out. This was probably like, I'm gonna say 2009, 10-ish. I reached out to several of my friends that don't live locally, and I was like, okay, I want to come see you. What events you got there? That way I can make it like a girlfriend weekend / I'll get a little work in too. Okay. And I did an event near a friend for several years, like almost 10 years. And then she moved, and it actually became way more expensive for me to go and do this. This is where you have to start weighing the options. Is it still worth your money? Because I would go and stay with my friend, so I didn't have to have room and board, all of these things, right? So it was a great thing. I didn't know what direction you were going here, so I debated on sharing this. But it was one of those events that when COVID happened and all the things started, and then they started back up, I actually decided not to continue that because I was spending more to go do this event than I was getting. I'd been doing it for nearly 10 years. The follow-up wasn't great. I think my sales were not even hardly going up. It's a little bit of a snobby town, if I'm being honest. So I think I wasn't local, and they didn't receive that well. I mean, that's just my honest perception. And I did pass it to someone who is closer to that area. So hopefully they're having better success. My whole point of this was search outside of the box too. Like, don't think you've got to stay right here. If you're capable and able to go, I mean, this was in a whole other state. So like, I went to a whole nother state to do this. And like so many people said, it doesn't have to be a massive one, but hey, if it is, even better. Don't be scared to do it. But that was just one avenue that when I was grasping for straws and really needing some event experience, that was one of the ones that I took, was just like messaging all my friends, what's in your area? Because I want to come see you, but let's do it. Let's double time it, So that's just another idea.
Yeah, that's good. And don't be scared too. I think a lot of times people think you've got to have all this inventory. I mean, you look at some of us that have been in 13, 14, 15 years, or however long Jamie's been in, 18 years, I don't know, forever, like great grandma. You don't have to. This is one of the reasons why I do school fundraisers, is because I always keep the host credit for myself, because they're getting my commission. A lot of the stuff that I'm selling, I get for free and half price because I'm doing these large, humongous fundraisers. So that's where a lot of my inventory comes from. Number two, it's my free and half price every time I'm closing out my own party online. I'm being strategic about having that inventory and holding it, but you don't have to. Debbie Pitts Palmer is a perfect example of setting up in locations with very little bit of inventory and focusing on joining. And she will sponsor people way more than she sells anything. So it's all about, like Melissa said, that intent going in. You can do anything with the starter kit. Don't get the misconception that you have to have every single bar in stock. People are going to buy what you have. And if they love a smell of something, they have no problem ordering it. Every single event I do, everyone always orders if I don't have it, because it's the way I present it. Mm-hmm. If I present it in the sense of,
that lady had her drink in her hand and she was bringing it.
I don't have that in stock. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad I don't have it. And if you're kind of like going on and on about like how you don't have it, you know what? I already sold out of that, but you know what? Let me just ship it right to your house. That way you don't even have to carry it around with you. I mean, which one is better? At this point, no big deal. Now she's solving a problem. I don't want to walk around, carry backs, carry bars, and you're just saying I can ship it directly to your house. So it's all about in your delivery and getting comfortable and the confidence of how you're going to deliver. And that goes the same as upselling when you're having these conversations with people and getting those questions at checkout. Those repetitive questions you should be asking every single person. How you doing on bulbs? Because then you're asking, they're not thinking, oh, shoot, I probably do need bulbs. And say, do you need a different size? How many, they're 3 for $5. Go ahead and stock up on all the different sizes. Interested in hosting a party, earning free or half price, you or somebody you know, And then number 3, are you or anybody you know interested in making some extra money? I straight up asked them. The 4th question that I ask and adding at this event, and I'll let y'all know how it goes in 3 weeks when I'm back on shift again. I'm asking, do you want to get these bars set up on a schedule to auto ship to your house? I'm asking every customer that buys bars, because I'm going to get them on Club and sign them up on the spot on an auto ship program with the bars that they're buying. And I'm going to see if it works. We'll see. Somebody asked about shipping. I do charge shipping. I charge shipping and tax at my events. It's 5%. I'm still doing the 5%. And that's what I charge. I had to pay shipping to get it here. If you want free shipping, come party with me. So I'm a stickler at that.
I don't know which direction. Oh, sorry.
No,
go ahead.
just jump in with whatever, because there's going to be a lot of information.
So, okay. Well, one of the things I want to say that has really helped, especially when I started doing several a year, and I'm old school. I'm not spreadsheet. I don't even know how to do a spreadsheet. Okay. Or Excel or whatever. I'm handwrite. So I write down everything that I bring in, literally every single thing that I bring in, how many of each bulb, how many of everything. And then even of each scent, not just bars, I literally detail how much each. I make notes the whole time. Like if a certain scent sells out first, you know, what was a scent that maybe people were asking about repetitively that either I did or didn't have or was discontinued, whatever. So that, you know, you're able to hit them up about the BB&B. I take lots and lots of chicken scratch notes during an event, either about people, about products. But here's why I do it, because the next year when I'm like, okay, I cannot remember what scent sold out first or what was selling the best. Oh, you know what? I probably need about 72 bars of weathered leather, because that is always going to be my first to sell out for sure. But there's an event that I did, the one that I was telling you earlier, the scents that I sold here in end of October were not the scents that I sold there 2 weeks later. They were into pine and spruce, way more. And I think it was literally the region. I don't think it was the season, because I wasn't quite into Christmas yet. But I'd make those notes because each event really is unique. Like I may sell all bakery at this one, but then the next one, I won't sell any, but you know, fruity, whatever it may be. But I take tons and tons of the most silly little notes. I literally write down, it is time consuming to write down how many bars, every single thing. But I like to know what my price point of my warmers. Did I sell more mini warmers? Did I sell more, you know, is it across the board? Is there not a theme? But I like to look at that because then it helps me prepare for the following year that much more. So that is something that I will not let go of. That is old school for me and I won't let go of it. That is something I do. It also really helps if you're working a booth with someone else and you're able to come in and be like, this is everything that I'm bringing in. And I'm not going to even get into the math of how that works, but it's just really helpful insight. And I have it year over year in like an old school file of facts thing that I love to pull out and see year over year what sells and what doesn't, and what people come in asking for, so that like now I make sure to have a couple little bundle gifts made, because there's a stockyard, whatever, animal sales, and people come and get gifts. And they're like, do you have any gifts that I could give the sellers? And so now I put little gift bundles, and they're not even big, but I'll have gift tags. Heather helped me make gift tags last year. Like, it's just little things like that I make notes, and just to add little touches for the next year.
Yep. I was going to piggyback right on that, JP, and say, I also make notes after I also make notes, especially because my events are outside. And I track the weather, the temperature, what the traffic was like at the event, because those are the things. If your numbers are super high and you want to compare year over year, if it rained, or if it rains one day, but it was sunny last year, that can help give you a little bit of insight on why your numbers are down a little bit. If this year is rainy and last year was sunny. And so I also track the weather because that plays a factor into the outdoor events. One of the questions that came in the chat is, how do you get people to leave their contacts? No matter what I do, no matter what I do, most people don't want to leave their information, but they come looking for me at the same shows each year. And this year, what you doing? This year I made something to put right at my checkout. So I know this is hard to see and there's a glare, but it says, scan me and that's my Instagram, and it says, let's keep in touch. And I did a jot form with this. My purpose was to capture information as fast as possible. So this was the purpose of this was not to gather an entire customer profile from them standing at my checkout line. I wanted their name and their phone number, and that's it. So I made a jot form that's attached to this QR code that just asks for name and phone number, because my goal, remember, you always want to have an expectation for your results. My goal was to get people into my project broadcast. I wanted to be able to get their phone numbers for texting into project broadcast so that I can then get customer profile information and build a relationship with them afterwards. Each person I asked if they would join my text list so that I could keep them in the loop. So they knew straight up what I said. I send out 1 to 2 texts a month, but I let you know about new releases, new things that Scentsy drops, any exciting new products that come out, any promotions that are running. If you want to stay in the loop with me and with Scentsy, scan this QR code, give me your name and phone number. It'll take you 2 seconds. And then it leaves that. Once they hit the submit button, it takes them to my website. And so at least they're walking away having they could submit it right there, because I wasn't asking them then all of these different questions, because they're at an event. They want to go shop. They want to go walk. They don't want to stand and fill out a 5-page survey. I just want to capture their information. So, so that's that contact question. And realistically, just because some people don't want to leave it doesn't mean you stop asking.
Right.
Don't get discouraged. Who cares? I mean, how many times do you walk by the AT&T person at Costco or the Verizon person at Sam's Club that is saying, who's your phone carrier? Who's your phone carrier? Who do you have for your energy? Who do you have? You walk by. It's no different than your event. If people continue to walk by or they don't want to leave their contact information, big deal. Somebody will. So
Yep.
don't stop your behavior because of other people's behavior.
Yep. And I
You
was
have to
just
be
going to say,
consistent.
Nicole just typed it, but you could even offer, hey, everybody that's getting on my contact listing, I'm doing a drawing.
Yeah.
I mean, you could absolutely do that if you wanted to, if you feel weird about like asking.
So another question came in and said, would you guys be willing to share what your setups look like on the Thursday night shift group? Here's always why, and this is probably why you don't see a ton of setup pictures floating around on the Facebook pages, is because it isn't, I'm always hesitant to post my setups on social media because I don't want other consultants to be discouraged
Right.
by what my setup looks like. You have to understand, I built a business doing events. My first year, I didn't have inventory. I strictly took orders. We all had to start somewhere, but I have built a business doing events. I enjoy doing events. So of course I carry a little bit more inventory, but I have to in order, whatever. So it's always hard to post those pictures because I don't want others to get discouraged. That is why tonight we wanted to share with you, though, some of the tips and tricks that we've learned or some of the things that we do or we've used to kind of help guide you. There will be pictures that float around. If I don't know if you guys have any that you're comfortable sharing, maybe, I mean, it's, I don't know. It's not like I'm hiding.
It just gets iffy because there are people who act weird about it and they turn
Mhm.
people in. And so, and then it can also be like intimidating, like, oh my gosh. I mean, if I could show you the beginning to the end, and guess what? I've been successful at all of them, even from the little dinky one that I did at the beginning. Ross, do you have your hand held? Did you want to say something? Go right ahead.
Just to kind of attach to what Melissa was saying, and I didn't pick up the name of who was asking, like, how do you get contacts? So it's something that I share with my team that I started doing this past event that I just did 2 weeks ago, and then one before that. Because I've been around for a little while, I have a lot of testers, older testers laying around. So what I did was I literally went through all of my testers, and this can be done at any stage really, because it could be one of those things where maybe you've just done one season, like the spring and summer that we just passed, and you do have some testers that are current, like they're classic. So you could do that if you've been in for 10 years or if you've just done one season. But what I've done is I literally went through all of my testers, and you guys can see here, I've been around for a minute and I didn't get rid of any testers. I have all sizes. I have the old logos, I have all of them, right? But the point is, all of these testers are current. All of these fragrances are current. So what I did, I put 5 testers of the current scents into a little clear plastic bag. I got this little paper with the QR code, so I didn't even, it takes them to, this one was the Harvest Collection, the PWS, and I don't even remember what the other one was, Fall and Winter. So 3 different QR codes, and then just said, hey friends, the brand new Fall Winter catalog just launched. So in case you're looking to scent up your life for the holidays, feel free to take a look. And that's just my information in the back and some information about club. And what I did was I numbered them all. And this is the work that comes a little bit before you give these out, but I numbered them all. And on a piece of paper, I wrote down what each bag, what type of scent was in each bag. And when the people approached me at the desk or at the booth, I was like, oh, thank you so much for stopping by. Here's a little goodie for you. And then I would have a sign-in sheet right next to the number. Let's say this was number 37. And I would tell that customer, do you mind just leaving your phone number for me real quick, right on this line? Nobody, guys, nobody said no to it. So at that point, I had that customer name and their phone number, and it was the perfect way for me to then just reach out to them and follow up. At this last event, I had 58 straight contacts just by giving these little dudes out. And I've got orders. I've got 2 really good connection, one from a realtor and one from an interior designer, one I'm working with, but she has a 7,000 square feet warehouse locally that she is planning on sending up. So I don't know where that's gonna go yet, but I'm just sharing this because these little dudes were not doing anything sitting in my office, right? So when you're looking at ways to get contacts, that's one of the way. And in the back of each sample, I put how to use it. So it says, remove the lid, turn me upside down in your warmer, let the wax melt, then discard the jar, enjoy. So
Thank you for sharing that. That actually made me think of something else really quick. I love to do what she said, I'm not as organized as you, but I would love to be able to get rid of testers. I have so many testers, but I do usually like to have like some little pre-made packets of something to put in their bag, like whatever, like a product sheet and whatever. I try to do that. I do try to have pre-made of those. And this also made me think of, someone asked earlier, what do we use at an event? Like maybe, I don't know if they meant like checkout or whatever. I wanted to say that I do use the square system, not even if it's not running a card. I like to keep track of all my sales as much as possible. Sometimes it gets a little overwhelming, and because I work by myself. So I sometimes miss, but I try to go back and re-enter for a couple of reasons, so that you can put a checkout prompt, like for them to enter their email address in after that. If they get the receipt, they can do that, or at checkout. There's a whole process but there's also a program or whatever that you can click on to see how much you sell each day. So I can look back and be like, oh yeah, last year, Friday was my best day, but Saturday wasn't, because it was a home football game, or it wasn't a home football game, because I do have to look at that, whether it's a home football game or not. That will affect how many people come in. So I love the little packets. Thank you for that reminder, because I'm literally getting ready for this. Like Heather is getting ready for all of hers. I am too. So that's a great reminder. And I'm going to pull out my testers, because that's a great thing to throw in there. But I feel like there was something else I was going to say, but I don't remember.
I think it's really important too, because you're saying you want to put something in customer bags. It's very important to ask yourself, what is going in everybody's bag that's buy, host, and join? You better have all 3 of those categories covered. A lot of times you're so focused on sales that you forget all of the other little nuggets that you could be doing to get these parties booked and to get these people joining your team. So just kind of ask yourself, what are you putting in there? What little paperwork are you dropping in that bag? That way you're at least touching them later on with it, and they can get home and go through their bag and read it or whatever. So what are some of the other questions? We're already down to 20 minutes. So if you have specific questions about events, throw them in the chat, because we may just do like the last 5 minutes or so, or even 10 minutes of just
Heather.
rapid fire. Go ahead, Melissa.
There was a good question in the chat, and I was trying to search for an answer really quickly. About, do you guys remember, Heather, Jamie, Jill, the standards included something for a very short time about, and consultants couldn't do events that were more than 50 miles away from where they live. But I just searched, so that was in place for a small amount of time, but I just searched the standards for fairs and shows, and that clause has been removed.
Yeah, I don't think that's that's not.
So
current.
I wanted to clarify that, because that was a question.
Don't even remember that. So
Yeah, that
And
was a
it's up to
question.
the vendor coordinator if there's more than one Scentsy. So keep that in mind too. It's not exclusive. There's not just one. It's literally up to the coordinator. And if there's more than one, go introduce yourself, embrace it, and attack this properly instead of being competitive. You work it together. If you're out of something, send them to the other booth.
someone asked on Facebook, has anyone done an event where you couldn't sell cash and carry, just to display, talk to people?
I have, if it's a retail location and you're not allowed to do cash and carry at a retail location. Absolutely. You can have one of each type of product. So meaning one room spray, one mini warmer, one, let's say $40 warmer, a travel twist. You can have one display item of each where you can take orders, but you cannot have cash and carry. It is in our standards for sure. So yes. And again, it's all about making contacts, and your personality comes into play. I've done two where I took zero product and only took pop buy stuff for realtors. They had vendors come in, and I met some really great contacts there. We were chatting it up and just really getting to know them. I'm already friends with them on Facebook. One has already ordered 22 different pop buys from me. What they love is that people can get Scentsy products from anywhere. But if you're in that industry of a realtor, a title company, or a mortgage company, they're wanting something with their name, phone number, face on it, and their mortgage logo. I offered something that no other vendors did, was customization with their name and face and phone number. And guess where they were coming to get all their pop buys? From me. So just keep that in mind when you are doing something. Pop buys are just little things that realtors do to stay in front of their clients. They drop them on their porch. You can literally go into Pinterest and type in pop buys, and you'll see all kinds of stuff pop up. But you've got to be willing to do the different things. And a lot of that is coming in just into conversations. When people come into your booth, it is standing out front and handing out samples and having a smile on your face. Don't sit down in the back and look like you just ate a sour apple. I mean, you've got to be engaging. People have a choice where they're going to spend that money that day. And it is your job to make them want to fall in love with you. You're their best friend. Come on in and let's go shopping. And I might invite you and meet you for drinks later. I mean, that literally is how you've got to kind of make these people feel.
Someone asked, do you put 3 different things in there for buy, host, or join, or do you make one? I don't personally like to have to go through, like, I don't like putting several things in there. I like a sample and 1 or 2 pieces of paper top. So like a product sheet, and then I'll go on all of these great Canva things, all these other things that people share, and I will tweak to make it just a one document. As of right this moment, I'm not even sure what I'm doing because I haven't gotten that far, but that's me. I personally like simplicity, bring it back down 1 or 2 papers tops. I had another thought. What was it? Oh, Heather, you were just talking about like put yourself out there. And I don't remember if I said this already. So if I'm retelling something I already said, I'm so sorry. But a few weeks ago, I was talking to my husband about our coach and like versus a coach we used to have, and kind of what was the difference and all these things. And he said, you have to be willing to do what others won't do, whether you're in coaching, whether you're a teacher, he said, in any line of business, you have to be good at what you want to do. You have to do what others want. And I was like, and like, I totally can relate to that, because it is not natural for me to go out there and just do what Heather does, to just but at events, boy, I choke it down and I just do it. because it makes all the difference. And I know that I've shared this before, is that sometimes working an event with other person and talking to other people, like not the customer, invites people in too, because then they don't feel like they're going to be attacked as soon as they walk in. So just kind of read the body language and work that through that, because there are going to be some people you can tell they're like, don't talk to me, I want to work on this, you know, whatever. But definitely like be outgoing and do what others won't do, because there are going to be people who sit at their booth, sit behind a table and never even look up if you walk in. And then there are people that are too in your face. So get in there somewhere and put yourself out there, because that can make all the difference in the experience of people walking into your booth.
And if you, go ahead, Jill.
Sorry, I was going to say too that if you joined post or during COVID and you can't even fathom in your mind doing home parties and getting in front of people, an event is a great starting point, because then you're not like all eyes on you. You can kind of bounce around, talk to people. And for me, when I first started doing an event, because I was like, I am not going into people's houses. I can't even imagine everyone just staring at me and I have to talk about all this stuff. Doing an event allowed me to get knowledgeable about our products, talk to people, learn. I was more comfortable, you know, like I was able to say like, oh, I don't know that, but let's look it up in the catalog together. And then someone else would come in. Like, it just brings you out of your comfort zone, because I know a lot of people that joined, we joined staying in our homes, doing everything virtually. And now things are kind of coming out. So find the small events, you guys, like Heather said, even if it's, you know, and Melissa said, like looking on Facebook, even these tiny events, like small ones, 1 day ones, office events. Someone just contacted me the other day. They were having 3 or 4 vendors during lunchtime. Like, you know, then you can just set up a small little like display, a few items, you know, some bars if you have them, and then just use it as a practicing tool. And then if you find that you like events, you can start looking for bigger ones, saving up inventory. But I do find like if you are very nervous about getting in front of people, but you want to grow your business, and we all know that's the way to do it, a small event or even jumping the gun and doing a bigger one is a great way to just get comfortable and knowledgeable with the products, and getting out of your comfort zone. Maybe finding, if you've just started to grow your team, grab someone locally and be like, let's just do this together, and make it your goal just to get more comfortable with learning the products, answering questions, getting comfortable saying, oh, I don't know the answer. Let's find out together. Let's get online. Like that was a big thing for me. And then I did home parties galore. Like then it was easy because I just felt more knowledgeable. So, you know, sometimes in the very beginning, it doesn't have to be about selling or even joining or booking. It just can be about pulling yourself out of your comfort zone and getting comfortable with your business.
100%. And one of the things I want you to, I guess it might be good for us to kind of go over some of the things that we say in our booth. It's become very natural off of our tongue now, but I will tell you right now, if a customer smells something and it stinks, like I'll never forget guava honey in my booth. And I'm like, oh girl, that stinks so bad. It smells like cat pee. Like I was straight up, if they think something's gross, and I'll be like, oh, let me smell that again. Oh yeah, I absolutely, that's disgusting. It is okay to say you don't like a scent because it makes you real. You don't have to be that Scentsy consultant that's loving. Oh, how good. Oh, this is so good. You don't need to be loving everything. So be real, be able to connect with them. Another thing is when they're coming in and you're engaging with them. One of the things that I love to ask is, where are you thinking about putting this warmer? Because number one, if you've got a living room and you're trying to do a little $25 mini warmer, I immediately tell you, oh honey, no, that's meant for a way smaller room, a bathroom, laundry room, but that is not going to give you the fragrance so that you want. What colors do you have in your living room? I immediately go take them off that path. We just skip right over that. And I want to know what color schemes you have, because now I am going to point you in the direction of decor. So now they think I'm an interior designer, because now I'm matching a beautiful warmer to their great neutral palette living room that you need a larger warmer for. You know, so it's kind of that natural flow of upselling through conversation. What are some of the other things that you guys say would be really good lingo that you've kind of gotten used to saying and doing?
Well, one of the things, just like you, when they're like, oh, you know, what, I don't like this scent or whatever. I'm like, oh, I've been in it for 16 years. You think I've loved every single scent? Absolutely not. So I agree with you, and that be very real, because then they're like, if they'll go, oh, I don't like it, and they're trying to be quiet around me, I'm like, girl, you're not gonna hurt my feelings. I don't love them all either. So that is another thing. Carrie B, I think, was saying, like, remind them smelling is for free. I thought that was cute. Like, you know, when people say, oh, I'm just looking around, I'm like, oh, well, this is a smelling booth. Come on in, sniff and smell, you know, like sniff, smell, and look, you know. I'm trying to think of something else I say. I love the approach where you say, Heather, like, what color is the room? What kind of space is this going in? That's a great reminder that I think I forget to overlook. You're just focused on what they're asking.
I also
like
like to put the little nugget that it's lifetime warranty. Like, hey, remember, this is lifetime warranty. So if it ever breaks, call me. Make sure I have your info, because we'll replace it for free, even pay the shipping.
Speaking of that, almost every event, and almost, I would say no less than 10 times, people say, I broke a dish.
Yep.
And you get da 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 da. So I do like to look to see if I can get it, but then I also show them, it almost always turns into a, like, maybe it's just time to upgrade.
Right.
And show them what I have on hand, or if I don't have it on, order. I'm never afraid to order. I'm never afraid, because like Heather said, people, they're fine. You want to order it? Fine. It's just still takes the middle person out of them having to go online and do it. You're going to order and get it sent to them. So don't be afraid if you don't have it on hand.
Well, and I always tell them, and they're like, oh, do you have this bar, or do you have this dish? You know what? Let me see if I do. I've got a pretty large team. Let me ask them, even if I have a team of one person. I remember I was having team meetings with one person when I wasn't even a director yet, but we were having team meetings with one person, and I will say, yes, let me get your info, because that's a easy way to get someone's contact info. You know what? Let me check with my team. I got a pretty good sized team. I bet we could probably find it for you. And I don't ask, because I am not that person that is going to have a tiger's eye warmer with a blue dish, because, honey, no, that does not look good. If the warmer dish is not supposed to go on that warmer, if it was not original, buy a new warmer, repurpose that. But I am not going to tell you to buy a different dish for a warm. That is killing my heart, killing me. Oh, cannot do it.
I have one thing that I do want to share or show you, but Annie, you just had an event recently. Did you have anything that you wanted to add? Because I know that it was a great event.
It was my best event I've ever had. That was super exciting. You know what I threw in my we were talking about packets earlier, and one of the things that I threw in my packet to put in people's bags was a flyer that had a QR code for my Yumi Who link. If any of you are using Yumi Who, as I put it in their bag, I'd say, you know, all of this obviously lives with me. So if you need a bulb in a hurry, let me hook you up. You just scan this QR code, and I'll take you to everything that happens to be in my stock. It's kind of a revolving door, so I can't tell you what I'll have on hand at the time. But I've actually had several people purchase from my Yumi Who since the event, so it did work. Another thing that was really good was, I'm on the coast of Washington State. We don't get really hot weather. However, it was a super hot day, and so I couldn't hang my wax like I normally do. So instead I hung up all of my pods, and because that's what was front and center, what people were seeing, I sold a ton of pods. People were like, what is this? And so that was super exciting, because you can't get pods anywhere else, and there's no substitute for it. And I love the idea of introducing people to a new product. So that was super successful too. I sold pretty much all the pods that I had, with the exception of just a few. And that was super successful. So between the follow-up of people into my Yumi Who and the pods, those were like some new things. But realistically, I did like you, because you showed me your framed QR code for collecting people's info, and that worked really, really well too. So, and that's really all I have to add.
Awesome. Thank you. Heather, you made the QR code in the frame too, right?
I'm doing it tonight. It's on my to-do list.
Okay.
I have your template.
I wanted to show you also, and I've talked about these before, but I buy 1.5-inch wooden circles from Amazon. It's like a bag of 100 of them. And I have a stamp pad, and I have these stamps, And this is my pricing bin that I take to my events. And when I open it, I've got all of the different prices for all of the different products on these little tokens. This fits perfect in the dish. It fits perfect on the box. You can put it in front of something on your table. What I love is it doesn't blow away. That's why I went to these and I just double side stamp them and I separate them into this little organizer that I got off of Amazon.
Oh, can you do this for me?
In 1 second. And it makes it really handy. So all of my pricing tokens, it's so funny because I started by making pricing tokens for 20, 30, 35, and 40. And I've had to occasionally increase. And this year I've had to make them for $85. I had to make them for $100. And so my container has had to grow a little bit, but it's a really inexpensive way to do pricing. And it's very easy to just, I love it. And I like being practical. So, okay. Anybody else? Tip, trick, or an unanswered question?
Yes, I just ran to get it. I'm out of breath and my muscle and body is aching. I literally felt like 90 when I just ran and did that. It looks like I have hemorrhoids or something running. Okay, I totally put these on 2x4s. It goes in every box now. This warmer uses a blank watt light bulb. I keep them in stock, exclamation point. Look for the number on your dish. That's the number of recommended cubes for that particular warmer. I usually change my wax every 3 to 5 days, depending on the scent. A cotton cleanup makes changing wax very easy. So I write what the wattage is now, so they don't ever have to question. It goes on the inside lid of every box that I sell.
While we're sharing last minute tips, Heather, I think you were the one who shared this idea a few years ago. I put these on the boxes of my element warmers. So, and then people go, well, what does this mean? And then I'm able to explain element and that it doesn't necessarily take a bulb that way. Because if y'all have never gotten a random text from someone who has like turned a warmer upside down or tried to unscrew, I'm like, no. So this always just helps me remember to explain to them, yours actually doesn't take a bulb. So it's just easy because a lot of people come in and go, I don't want a light bulb. I'm like, great. I can look at my boxes and go straight to it. So that's like super, super, super easy to do.
That's smart. Okay, we have 3 minutes, Melissa. You want to give them the challenge we're closing out with? And
yes, so I have, and I need to put it, I'm going to put it on Thursday night shift on the page. I really, really, really want you to do this. I challenge you, and I'm going to follow up with you and ask you, because next week we'll have a little surprise with regards to this. But I want you to track a sale a day calendar for 30 days. Some of you have done this before. Some of you do it currently, and some of you have never done it, or you've said, I will do it, but I don't. I have a blank calendar I'm posting on Thursday night shift. I want you to print it out. You'll fill the dates in, because if we run it for 30 days, you're going to run it into November as well. But I want you to track every sale that you make, and I want you to try to get a sale a day. I'm telling you, your sales will increase if you use this, especially if you get a streak going. We naturally, with our competitiveness in ourselves, we naturally don't want to break the streak. We will challenge ourselves to make a sale to not break a streak. So I want everybody to track their sales for 30 days on this calendar. Even if you track your sales elsewhere, I want you to track it on this calendar too. Okay? Because there's something psychologically about seeing a 30-day calendar and seeing something in every box. There is something to this. I'm challenging you. I'm challenging you, and we are going to talk about this again. I'm going to follow up with you, and I'm going to want to know who has the longest streak the next time that we talk. And so I'm doing it. We are all going to do this together. We're better when we all cheer each other on and we all do things together. So I will post that on Thursday night shift as soon as we get off of here. It can be a, yep, JP, I see you. It can be a scent circle. It can be a 6-pack of wax. It can be a warmer. You don't have to beat the prior day's sales. You can if you want to add that challenge and up your game for yourself. But the point is to make a sale a day, because especially when we are working from home, we aren't leaving the home as much as we used to, or we're not getting out in front of people as much as we used to. We actually have to put forth effort to make people want to buy from us, right? Because I need to stay in front of my customers. So who am I going to reach out with? 5 people today to try to make my sale, 5 people tomorrow to try to make my sale, 5 people the next day to try to make my sale. It can be a scent circle, it can be a warmer, and you don't have to beat the prior day. The goal here is to get a sale a day streak. JP.
I just remember, I love this challenge and I'm excited, but I just remembered something else that I try to keep in mind at working an event. When you're talking about things that you say, we always automatically think the buy 5, get 1 for free, right? With the bars. But I try to remember that that's all the things. That's the room sprays. That's the scent packs. There's always the 6-pack bundle. So remember that whenever you're looking, when anyone's looking at any product and they're like, well, what's your bundle deals? Remember that applies for all of our products, almost all of them, for a bundle and save for everything. So that's something that flies off the mouth very easy is, oh, a 6-pack is, I hardly ever bring up the 3-pack on anything unless it's just like, unless they're just dead set on 2. I will say, well, you can get 1 more for this. But that was just something else I wanted to help you remember. And along with the sell a day, that's something to keep in mind all the time, but it is something that slips off the tongue very easily. So that's it.
I love it. We could be talking about events all over. I mean, for days come. But it's 8:01. We are after the hour already. It went by fast.
I will also post, since I'll be over on Thursday night shift anyways, posting the sale a day calendar. I'm going to make a post that says event questions after, post Zoom or whatever. If you think of anything or your question did not get answered in this chat, I'm sorry, it's hard to keep up.
It is.
We will go through. Heather's going to be busy. You guys are going to be busy. But
I can do it in between if we're slow. I can go in and answer some.
And we will try to field the rest of your questions there, because there is a ton of things that you guys want to know. There's always, like Heather said, we can talk forever about events. But I will make a second post there if you have any questions, and we'll get to you there. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in, joining us. We appreciate you. Thursday night shift wouldn't be what it was if you guys didn't join us.
100%. And be thinking what your costume is going to be on the last Thursday night shift of the month. You better come in costume or you're not welcome back. Just kidding. Okay, well, you can come back, but you have to dress up. Okay, yeah. Love you guys.
Heather, have a great event.
Thank y'all. Bye, y'all.